Star Trek Discovery Review. The tense, dazzling new Trek is worth the wait. Good things come to those who wait. Star Trek fans. The first Trek TV series in a dozen years, Star Trek Discovery, endured multiple delays, behind-the-scenes shuffles and a cloud of concern before finally debuting on CBS this Sunday. And as a lifelong Trek fan, I'm happy to report that the nail-bitingly tense premiere delivered a cracking good action story, eye-popping special effects and a number of gasp-worthy twists. Not to mention a tantalizing cliffhanger expressly designed to send us scrambling to CBS All Access for the next episode. But we'll get to that. We open with the redesigned Klingons, clad in violently spiked attire and scarier and more, well, alien than previous Trek versions, as a leader named Kuvma declares his intention to reunite the species' 24 houses. Meanwhile, on a desert planet, we meet Captain Georgiou and First Officer Michael Burnham of the USS Shenzhou as they wander, seemingly lost. After Georgiou fires a weapon to open up a water well, a massive sandstorm rolls in, cutting off all communication and threatening to trap them there for 89 years. Just in time, though, the Shenzhou descends to pick them up after Georgiou reveals she signaled them by walking in a path that's the shape of a Starfleet insignia. That'll work. Let's take a moment to talk about the look of Star Trek Discovery. The sets and special effects are incredible, truly top-notch, on a Game of Thrones level. If part of the delay was making sure the space battles and Starfleet technology lived up to the hype, the result is a job very well done. Although it is a bit strange, as with the Star Wars prequels, that a prequel like this has cooler-looking tech than the original series, which takes place a decade later. Burnham's officer log puts us in the year 2256, as the Shenzhou heads to the far reaches of Starfleet territory to investigate damage to a relay satellite. They come across an unidentified foreign object that's scrambling the ship's sensors, so Georgiou goes old school and uses a telescope to check it out. Chief Science Officer Lieutenant Saru, an analytical alien from a cowardly race called Kelpians, thinks they should leave it alone, but Burnham volunteers to put on a spacesuit and take a closer look at it. The ensuing sequence of her heading into outer space and firing her suit's thrusters to propel herself into the debris belt is simply awe-inspiring. This is what we watch Trek for, people. Burnham finds the giant object, describing it as a centuries-old sculpture of some kind, but the ship can no longer hear her. And once she lands on the object, it begins moving. Then a terrifying-looking alien pops up, battle axe in hand, and takes a swing at her. Burnham fights back, tackling the alien and plunging his axe into his own chest. As the Shenzhou struggles to contact her, we see Burnham floating helplessly through space, unconscious, her helmet cracked. The alien that Burnham killed was a Klingon. In a new war, Starfleet has drawn first blood. Related Star Trek Discovery at Comic-Con, new trailer and Sarek's secret revealed, Stamets' love interest cast and more after a flashback to Burnham as a child in school, where she was mentored by Sarek, Spock's dad. She wakes up in sickbay, scars all over her body. She rushes out, even though the doctor warns her about genetic unspooling. That doesn't sound good, does it? She bursts onto the bridge and tells Georgiou about her close encounter with the Klingon, but the captain counters that Klingons haven't been seen in 100 years. They think Burnham might have a concussion, but Georgiou decides to believe her, ordering a red alert. Burnham tells them to lock their phasers on the foreign object, and when they do, a Klingon ship suddenly uncloaks and appears before them. And it's a lot bigger than the Shenzhou. Back aboard the Klingon ship, a white-skinned Klingon named Vok volunteers to light the beacon, holding his fist over an open flame to prove his worth. In Klingon culture, white skin is considered nature's mistake, but Kuvma has faith in Vok and sends him out to light the beacon. While we're here, how do we all feel about Discovery's attempt to flesh out the Klingons? There's some interestingly messy stuff about race and culture happening here, and I'm not sure it's all handled perfectly yet, but the bold new take on Klingons is at least intriguing, with a lot of storytelling potential, to be sure.